We go.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, we're live.
Hi, everybody. It's Shawn Murphy along with.
Daniela Jukic.
And Rhonda Bird Parker.
And we're having a conversation today. Imagine that. On where the heck? We're all going to get challenged. And the question is how do you respond or react to it? And here's the challenge. Here's the reality. When you get hit with this challenge and if you're like, things are pretty good, well, you know this. You're either coming out of a challenge, you're either in the middle of a challenge, or you're heading towards one because it's coming for you. And the reason I say that is because right now we're running out of our surge capacity. I'm just turning this open so I can make it public for everybody. Done. There you go. So these women that are on here, these powerful women who deal with being, listen, I'm lucky. I just got a couple of businesses to run. I've got, I get to sit in my office here and I get to look at photos and talk to people and work on things. They're also moms. They're also wives, right? There's so much more that they have to do and they get hit with, and their brains work a little bit different, right, ladies? So if you're this powerful, strong female and you believe your brain works a little bit differently, type a B in the chat, right? So Daniela, what are some of the ways that you've been able to deal with some of the stresses? Because you've gone through a couple here recently. How have you been able to rebound and respond to these situations? And welcome everybody on Facebook and Facebook page, fan page and YouTube. Good to have you all here.
Shawn, through our morning calls, I've learned exactly, you said it right. I learned to respond and not react. Where prior to being on our daily awakening calls, all I did was react, and it did not help me. It didn't help me at all. It just put more fuel on the fire. Where now I can sit back, analyze what is being said to me, and look at it from a different point of view. Where that's where Rhonda comes in. She's taught me how to see where they are coming from instead of how I am going to react to the way they're speaking to me. Because obviously they're in a state where it isn't a good state, and they want to provoke the reaction from you. But when you respond, when you can understand where that person's coming from, then once you respond, they can't come back and attack you because there's no room for it. And you just go, oh, bless their little heart. Kind of, that's how I kind of respond to it now.
So Rhonda, how do you deal with that situation, right? The same kind of thing. How a little bit more some on Facebook, and you seem to get some more calls from out of the blue from people. How are you responding to all of this?
Well, I think the core of conflict resolution would be when you taught me, Shawn, when you walked me through how to clearly identify the source of my approval, and that I was so addicted to the approval of others, even though I touted this, I'm a strong woman and I got this and blah, 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 blah. When you kicked me square in the pants and helped me realize I was totally addicted to the approval of others, that because of that addiction to approval, I oftentimes reacted because I wasn't getting the approval they wanted. It just, for lack of better words, it just pissed me off. But I thought it was because they were some rotten person. And I'm not saying I haven't dealt with people that, could have been a lot nicer and could be better, but I was acting just like them. I just wasn't looking in the mirror because I would react. And how was I any different? So when you started talking to me and I actually started listening, There's a big key indicator. He'll come on the screen for that. I actually started, yeah, there he comes. I actually started listening. I realized that when I changed my source of approval and I became addicted to what God says I am and who God says I am, and his approval was the only thing I needed, it increased my ability to respond. That whole, Shawn says, responsibility. We have an ability to respond. And because of that, I can now, like what Daniela said, it surprised me when you even said it out of your mouth. I can now look at where they're coming from instead of where I need them to come from, and how they're speaking instead of what I need them to say, because I don't need anything from them. I don't need them. I want to be a part of their life. I want to show them that they're significant. I want to show them that they have a purpose, but I don't need it any longer. And when you're not in a place of lack, you don't speak from a place of lack. You speak from a place of full. And then that ends up providing value, because someone coming to you, whether they're angry at you, whether they're trying to cut your legs out from under you, whether they're selling you a guilt trip train ticket or whatever it is, if you don't need that, you're less likely to buy it, and you're less likely to be offended, and you're less likely to react. And now you can see where their heart's speaking from. And it could be quite possibly that, especially now, people don't feel significant. And we actually have, what do they call, how did they do it in COVID when they said some places, they didn't use the word significant. What did they say about the places that had to stay open? They were essential. The essential and non-essential. They categorized people's workplaces and their careers. If you're already lacking and speaking from a place of lack, think about what that has done to our environment and our society when someone goes, but your job is non-essential. If you gain your significance from what it is you do and the title you have, and you happen to be one of those non-essential workers, how you feeling now? So the answer for me, Shawn, was once I listened and clearly identified that it was my addiction to approval that was causing me to react, and I changed that, and I renamed my source and realigned my source, I had ability to respond. And then I was coming from a place of full. So does that answer your question? Oh, we can't hear you.
Yep, I love that. And so, Daniela, what is it that allows you to?
I mean, look at her.
So for those of you that were on the session yesterday, that was one of her comments. I mean, look at me. And it's just going to stay up there the rest of the show. So in dealing with, you've started this gratitude, and next month, yesterday was the day before was the last day, and now you're starting it again, season 2 of your gratitude. How has that helped people? I mean, I'm watching people who've been on your calls and they're dancing. I've never seen them put a video up dancing. I mean, how is this happening? Is gratitude that big of a thing?
Shawn, the messages I get from the people that are on the gratitude challenge that just ended, the way this challenge has changed their lives blows my mind. The things that are happening, their unexpected wages are going up that they did not expect in their jobs. They're getting unexpected checks in the mail.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was seeing. I was seeing mailbox money showing up, and people are like, I just went to the mailbox, and before I open the mailbox, I go, there's going to be unexpected money in here. And like, Shazam!
Yep. I did it myself. I went to the mailbox to get my mail, and every time I go there, I say, thank you for the service. So for all the male women and men, I thank them first for their services. And then I say, I thank you for all the unexpected checks. And yesterday I opened my mail and I was like, oh, there's a check in here. And it was a refund from my insurance that I wasn't expecting. And the more that these things show up, I'm like, this is amazing. And the more that people reach out to me and they're like, hey, I made somebody smile today, that they told me that they've never had somebody thank them at the grocery store. What? She's like, the lady told me that she was so grateful that I thanked her, that I had to take my mask down because she said, wait, what did you just say? I was like, I'm like, how did that make you feel? She's like, Daniela, I spent the rest of the day, like I did the other day, waving and saying hi to people. She's like, it put me in such a state that I haven't felt ever.
And how hard was that for you to do?
It wasn't. It wasn't hard. I was scared.
The whole thing. You were scared?
I was scared to get on to start the calls. But then once I started, I was like, and once people were like, this is happening and that's happening and this came true, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop. I got to continue, keep on going.
Rhonda, what's been some things of gratitude that showed up for you that because of your prior planning, right, you've been able to stand into the place you wanted to be? You've been through a couple of fairly big challenges here recently.
So what's the question?
What's some of the ways that you've been able to prepare for these unexpected events that have happened? You didn't know they were going to happen, but you were able to walk through them because you had properly prepared for any possible future pain, right? You've stayed in a higher level of gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do similar to what Danielle does with her calls. It's not at that large of a scale. I'll do my gratitude messages. Shawn challenged us 2 years ago to send out 3 messages every day of gratitude. And there's days where at first I thought that was retarded. There's a lot of things at first I thought were retarded that Shawn told me to do that are really clever. He'll come back on screen for that. There he goes. And once I started doing that, when you give away from a place of full, even if from a place of lack, honestly, when you give away your smile or your thankfulness, you only make room for more. And I've done that more now here lately than ever. And it's those moments that my body just decides to hold on to whatever crazy emotion it's playing around with, those gratitude messages get me through. And what's crazy is, as I send out my gratitude messages, what I usually do is I have a way on my phone. I'll go through and I'll send out messages. I'll program them to go out in my phone on a Friday night, and they'll go out Saturday or the night before. And I'll pray over all those messages, and I'll pray over my phone list. And who do I send them to? Who do I reach out to? And I have had the most bizarre experiences of people messaging me going, you have no idea how timely this was. Someone said the other day, you have no idea. I have been praying and asking for God to talk to me. And you send me this message, and it was what I asked for. It was the way I asked for it. And let me tell you, that'll set off a release inside of you that you're like, oh, because not only have you blessed them, but them contacting you back, because they don't have to do that, them contacting you back and telling you what that did for them, and that they heard God's voice through your text message. What? It gives you a place, and it's hit me here lately, it gives you a place to arrive to bring value to someone else. And that is an amazing feeling. And when you're down, because we all have down days, my gosh, I have days where I'm like, could it get any worse? When you have those days, you can send out that gratitude message, And it takes whatever that is out of you, and it sends it away from you, and it begins to fill the empty void because people text you back. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was a perfect timing. Oh my gosh, no one's ever sent me a message like this. Oh my gosh, do you always do this? And if it's a phone number that it's not the same person that was in my phone, and they're like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, I don't know who you are. That's great. Have a wonderful day anyway. And I end up having dialogue with perfect strangers. And then one ended up, getting to know me, connecting on Facebook, perfect stranger. And now we have a connection. So sending out gratitude, even from a place of lack, is going to fill you full. It's going to make room for what's able to come into you, able to receive more. Our society will tell you, if you take care of you, boo, that's what it's going to say. You take care of you. Don't be worried about nobody else. And you end up like everybody else in our society when you step out and you do something different and you serve. And service can be straight from the heart to anybody. A simple thank you, a simple smile, like Daniela at the grocery store. Thank you so much. That's service. When you do that, there is something that happens in your brain, and Shawn knows all those big fancy words, and I won't try to say them all. There's something that happens in your brain that brings about a feeling inside of you that takes away any type of pain or frustration. And before you know it, you're sitting there. If you're me, you're sitting there going, crap, Shawn was right again, and now I'm happy. And I don't know why I say it like that, because I'm still happy, but I have to kind of go, oh man, it worked again. I know. But at least it's things that keep bringing back, which hats off to Shawn. Side note for Shawn. If you don't have a mentor that lets you take his knowledge or her knowledge and go use it, and they're too busy trying to protect their special knowledge, that ain't a mentor. That's just somebody trying to jack your money. Shawn will teach us everything he knows. And if we go and use it, the only thing that I like to do is make sure everyone knows where I got it, because I wasn't smart enough to come up with it on my own, but I'm dang sure smart enough to follow the man that's getting it. And wherever he's getting it from, he'll tell me, and I'll get it from him, and I'll tell them. And we'll just create a little stream of knowledge getters. So yeah, Shawn, I tease you and I mess with you. You know how much I care. Be good to people. You know how much I care about you and how much I like to aggravate you. But you always leave me with something that it kind of makes me shake my head, because you make me come out of the norm and you push me into better.
Like it says in Young Frankenstein, I put a what? What was the name of the brain? Abby who? Abby normal? Daniela, what would you say to the folks who are on here? What would you give them, a little tidbit, a little secret, a little encouragement to be able to respond better to some of the things that they may be exposed to here in the next coming months, just from a frustration standpoint?
Shawn, I kind of want to leave it with, I believe, and Rhonda can definitely check me on this, but it's the scripture from Matthew. He who has more, he or she who has more will be given more. And he or she who does not will be taken away of what they have. Am I right? Was it the Matthew scripture?
You did well.
Right. So Rhonda. Okay.
Very good, Padawan.
So it got that's where gratitude comes in. So he who has more gratitude will receive more in their life. And the person who takes everything for granted everything will be taken away from them, even what they currently have.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage people to, I know it sounds very sophomoric. It sounds mean. Why should that's why the phrase came up, the rich get richer. It has very little to do with money. We always equate it to money, but the rich get richer because it's about, and that's why I started the company Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. And it has very little to do with what money you have. The income is everything coming into your life. So Rhonda, how would you wrap this up?
Well, that was a pretty awesome way to Daniela kind of took this conversation, because that's the parable of the talents or the parable of the monies. Do what?
Nothing.
What's he trying to say?
I don't know.
And it's also too much is given, much is expected. And you've been given life. You've been given, Steffi put it up today. I think she might have put it in either secret sauce or on her wall. It's like however many minutes for the day you've been given, and she had it all written out. It's a pretty cool looking number. She's like, you've been given this much time today. What have you done with it? Are you sitting for most of those moments like a big old swelled up toad frog, just kind of sitting there pouting? Are you pouting about it? I know, y'all, just deal with it. Or are you, there you go. Or are you doing something that'll like this, that'll make you happy and make you excited and have fun in life? Listen, there is a pandemic going on. Okay, get over it.
Really?
Doesn't mean that you got to participate in the heaviness of the emotions. It doesn't mean that you got to participate and be a bump on a log and just sit there and, whine about what's not right in life. Why can't you be one of those people that decides to go, you know what? Yeah, I'll be a rebel and I'll pull my mask down and smile real quick at somebody and put it back up. I mean, I don't wear a mask, and y'all can comment on that if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. But why aren't you one of those people that's spreading this kind of love and joy? Why aren't you getting on a live and acting like an idiot and saying things like swelled up toad frog on a live that's going to be seen by who knows who, by what kind of caliber of people? Yeah, exactly. Where is the gratitude? I'm so thankful. I am so thankful Shawn did not let me sit in my filthy stew of self-pity. And he saw the heart that's inside of me. And he said, you know what? This one, she'll get it. She'll get it. She shows little glimmers. Yeah, it's a hard head. That's exactly right. It's my best and worst quality. It's my worst quality because it took a while for him to chip away to get in there. But after he's in there, that stubbornness comes into effect, because now that I know what it feels like to be in joy and to be in gratitude and not be judgmental and not be a title giver and not be someone who fractionates other people's existence and says that people are insignificant or anything. When I see from a point of gratitude, I can sit and appreciate everything around me, and my stubbornness will hold on to that now. I guess you could call it redeemed stubbornness.
Well, they say good habits or bad habits are hard to break, but so are good habits hard to break. And then once you decide which one you want, so
yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, there you go. You want to give them your closing phrase there?
I do, and I'm so thankful I got it. If you have a heartbeat, you have a purpose, and you are significant. And I know it from a fact. When I first started, I thought my life is too messy. I don't have it together. Oh my gosh, I don't look like this. The mess around you is proof of your existence. And we are glad you're here. And if you're not around people that are glad you're here, stick around with us. You'll end up being glad you're here too. And yeah, and we'll be acting crazy and doing goofball things and making a world-class mentor do a live with two crazy women. And he has to go to all his contacts after this live and go, I'm just trying to help these poor girls. Please don't, unfriend me. I'm just trying to help them.
From your contact list.
Yeah. I bet we're more fun mentees than most other people have. I'm just saying.
So, with that being said, I'm Shawn Murphy, along with
Rhonda Bird Parker
and Daniela Jukic.
And we'll see you all where?
At the next event.
Okay, everybody. Bye for now. I think people just hang out to see how are they going to end the damn.
If they only knew what happened after we canceled the live button.
Oh, somebody just commented.
No.
Oh, Boogs commented. It's over there. What's she doing up in the middle of England? Middle of the night.
In the middle of England.
In the middle of England.
Love y'all.
Hey, Bakumi.
Bakumi.
What's happening, girl? She gets to be like, oh my God, y'all said my name.
She said, you darn right you said my name. Love y'all.